Hello everyone. Welcome to my first ever War of the Ring League game. I played this game 2 days ago, I think it was, and it was my second ever online game. And my opponent is Simon, who was also my first, who was also my opponent for the first game that I played ever. But that was a friendly game, and now we decided to play for a league game. We're both very novice players. We're new in the community, and so this game will have no doubtedly have mistakes, and hope it's entertaining at least, and it's informative as well. So without further ado, let's begin. I am playing as Shadow, and my opponent has two action tokens. I think it's pretty standard for a league game, uh, but I'm not sure. I'm not really sure because it's my first game. But I think two action tokens are pretty standard. And as Shadow, I have a Mustering of the Long Planned War and this is their Bane. I think they're fine cards, not immediately playable, but having a tile drawing card before Moria is good, I think. And Desperate Battle is also a great combat card, so no complaints there. Um, yeah, and I allocated 0 eyes, and I'm about to roll. So let's go for it. All right, I get one muster, which is less than ideal, but what are you gonna do? My opponent gets one movement against 0 eyes, which is well, whatever, right? Like, yeah. Will they ring move? Probably not. Pretty standard start, I think. My opponent starts with passing. Looking at my hand, looking at the dice roll I have, I don't really have a way to play the Palantir right now. And I have a bunch of army dice, so my armies are going to be fast. I'm just not getting Saruman anytime soon. So with one muster, it's really a question whether you should put Isengard to war or Sauron to war, right? Because if you put Isengard to war and you basically mobilize all your Sauron armies and you don't roll enough musters next turn, then all those armies will be useless. So I think it's safe for shadow players to start by putting Sauron to war when they only roll a single muster. And plus all the attacks don't hurt because what I'm gonna be doing with all these attacks is I'm just gonna prepare this classical Elven pincer on Lorien and Woodland Realm. It's a very common attacking strategy, attacking line, a very successful one. And for that, Sauron needs to be at war, and it's fine if I don't get Saruman, but maybe I can get the Witch King. Especially when my opponent has three musters and a muster token. They have a very muster heavy role, which means they're likely to put the elves to war or like muster them once or twice, maybe. And I can get the Witch King next turn. It doesn't matter to me how I got my extra die, I just need to have it. So I think Witch King is just as good as Saruman, right? So here we go. I make a mistake. I should just play the Palantir and draw a card to see what I get, but I don't. I move some armies and I make this move, which is a very standard move to just reinforce to get this extra half a move into Moria, but I can't do it because Isengard's not at war. That was the whole point. So I just move Farhar to Nirharan, pretty standard. My opponent passed again. I start going towards the Elven Strongholds. Seeing this, my opponent starts mustering down the elves. I think mustering the elves a little bit is always useful. Genuinely, like if you can muster in an elite into Lorien and like an elite into Woodland Realm, like that's that you're supposed to be doing that to not let Shadow get those easily, right? So in mustering down elves are just good, I think. Um, yeah, this is fine. I go ahead and move. My opponent musters down the elves again, right? And here I make a mistake. I play the Palantir to draw a card, and I draw another Desperate Battle, which is good. But I think here's why I make a mistake. At this point, before I play the Palantir, my opponent can just muster down the elves, and I can't besiege them because I didn't put Sauron to war. And they can just, with their last hybrid die, they can just muster an elite into Lorien. And there's a very strong case for doing that. I think my opponent should have done that. A 1/3/1, a 7 hit point army is not going to be taken over by a 7/1/1, which is a 9 hit point army. Like, that's not going to happen unless something horribly goes wrong. And yeah, and even so, like if they muster right now, right? Like I play the Palantir, right? If they muster right now, I can't besiege them. I put Sauron to war. They put a they put an elite in here. I besiege them. I'm besieging them with 5/1/1, and these 2 units in Moria are just stuck in Moria, and it's super inefficient. And this would have been devastating. They get an extra elite in Lorien. They don't allow me to efficiently move these Moria units, get them involved in the attack efficiently. I think that would have been really good for 3 people. So playing the Palantir is just wrong, just a mistake. I should just put Sauron to war and prepare these units to be besieged. Yeah, these units to besiege Lorien. Just yeah, no, besiege. I don't know. My English is not my first language, but yeah, prepare those units to for the Lorien siege. All right, you're continuing. So I play the Palantir, and I draw a Desperate, and like I said, I think my opponent has now a huge opportunity to put the elves to war and they can just like muster in the lead in there, but they pass. And me realizing my mistake, I immediately put Sauron to war. My opponent moves, which is yeah, you're gonna move, right? Like it's fine. And I make another mistake here and play the character die to move into Nomadland. That's not what I should be doing at all. Because if they muster the elves to war with that last die, I will have to besiege them, and these 2 units in Moria will be stuck in Moria. And I'll be besieging with 5/1/1. Instead, I should just use the army dice to move the Moria into here and then make the same move with this Daggerlad army. And with the sea die, if they put elves to war, I can just besiege them with the sea die and just be efficient. But I don't. And they muster the elves to war. And this is very questionable. And here's why. Like they put the elves to war with the token, which is fine. Like yeah, you're maybe trying to get you're trying to cause this inefficient movement of Dimril Dale army and Moria army, not let them link up, but I'm gonna besiege them. So you're using a token to just like create this little inefficiency. That's not maybe worth it. What will be interesting, I think, though, if they had drawn a card, maybe, right? Because if they draw a card, what do I do with my final army? If I merge this Mori army and Dimrildale and move to southern Romania, with their final die, they can put elves to war, and then next turn, their first muster they can muster into Lorien. So by making sure I don't get to siege them when they're at war, they get a new muster, provided they roll a muster. That's obviously the case, obviously a risk. But that might have been interesting to make sure you play last and put the elves to war and then put an elite in the Lorien. But they don't. They just like hard muster Lorien, hard muster the elves at war. So at this point, I can't obviously let them muster in anything, so I have to put them under siege. And yeah, those two dudes in Moria just got completely abandoned. And they shouldn't have been if I had played my army die first instead of my character die. And now I have to. Yeah. And my opponent. We discussed whether my opponent's action die play was good. I think it's like causing this inefficient movement. It's probably not worth it. The draw one would be interesting because I think the muster token is more valuable than the draw one. Just to flip the order, the turn order. Uh, it's a big question. What like if they had not put the elves to war, would Shadow put them under siege with the last army dice? Right, that's an interesting decision for a Shadow player to face. Right, there's a hybrid showing, and elves are not at war, but I have no more dice. It will be very interesting. I think. All right, we're going to turn two. Um, I draw Hawks and Hawks and Goblin Man and Cruel Weather. Excellent cards. I allocate 2 eyes and roll one more. I generally don't hate this because I want to hit the Fellowship on their second movement if I can to reveal them into Moria. So I need at least 2 dice, 2 eyes in the box to be able to just have a decent shot at catching them in Moria. Um, but having 3 eyes now, I'm even more likely to hit them before Moria or into Moria, right? Like if you're moving twice, oh, you're gonna get caught. But my opponent doesn't. Didn't kill anyone off. Like it doesn't have Gandalf, so they're okay being caught. It's a bit of a dilemma for Shadow. Like, do you let them hit or do you not? I personally think you should, as Shadow, dealing corruption damage is usually good as much as you can. Even though they get to kill off Gandalf, they're gonna kill off Gandalf anyway. So what are you gonna do? Like delay him for a turn, which is 1 die, like action die, actually of difference. But like if you can deal an extra 2 corruption, that would be huge. Obviously, it's all probability based, so it's like an extra eye doesn't actually mean 2 corruption, yada yada yada. But like that's the game. That's the strategic decisions. What one thing I have to say, as Shadow, you should, I think, try to waste approximately 3 character dice on for free people, because free people technically need 16 movement, Wills of the West plus character dice to be able to dunk. One for Gandalf, one for getting Gandalf, and 15 for this short. For the shortest track to Mordor, and 5 in the Mordor track. So they need at least 16 movement, and they have 3 rings, which means 3 jokers, right? Like they can roll 13 movements and still dunk with 3 rings. So as Shadow, your goal should be to slow down. You're racing the Fellowship militarily, and your goal is to make the make the free people waste 3 character movements, because approximately in 7 turns they're gonna roll around 32 dice, and half of their die faces are 16 movements. The half of their die face, half of an action roll for free people is movement. So when they roll 32 dice, they roll 60 movements. Probabilistically, by turn 7, they should be close to dunking. So my goal as the shadow player is to one waste their C dice, the movement dice, and beat them militarily before turn 7. Now this is very like high level concept, but like that's I think how you should think about the game in general. Because some turns they're just gonna roll 4 movements, and some turns like this turn they're only gonna roll one. It just in the course of the entire game, it's gonna kind of balance out. I can talk in depth about all the maths and all how I got all the numbers, but like that about covers it for now, I think. But yeah, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll try to explain it best. But three, you should waste three. Like Cruel Weather, the reason it's such a powerful card is it immediately wastes one C dice at least, because if you can delay them a entire turn, then they waste even more. But yeah, you get the point. My opponent rolls 2 movement, which is excellent for them because they're gonna move once. If Gandalf gets hit, they're gonna get Gandalf. If it doesn't, they're gonna ring move and then get Gandalf and use the last to hide with the Strider ability. I like that's pretty straightforward. Or they're gonna muster the elves, right? With the muster if they don't get hit or revealed. All right. So they start by moving. They can't pass because the dice are up. They're safe. All right. I get going. These Moria, yeah, I mean, gotta do what you gotta do. The Moria army is incoming. Maybe. Yeah, by the way, I only rolled a single muster, which is gonna go to the Witch King, obviously. And if I had rolled more musters, obviously putting Isengard to war is very good, but also maybe I should think about recruiting Moria first before moving out with the Dimril Dale army to be a little bit more efficient, but I didn't roll any musters, so my opponent immediately musters into Woodland Realm. I think that's a mistake, right? Is there any chance I can put the Woodland Realm under siege with the current dice I have? There isn't. But like if they ring move, they give me a ring, then I can. Like 1, 2, 3. But then you would just like you no, I think this is a mistake. You should just use the Palantir, ring move, and then get Gandalf. And if you see me charge for this move, it means that I'm not getting the Witch King, which is good for free people. If you see that happen, you just muster as your last action and don't hide, and you're fine. Whatever. But I obviously get the Witch King because I need the dice. I need the 8 dice. My opponent, as predicted, ring moves, gets hit. I draw a 3. Perfect. Kill off Gandalf. No revealed into Moria. That's perfect for the Fellowship. And fearing how easily they went by Moria and how efficiently they took everything, and they were able to put elves to war, and they're going to be able to muster even more. I decide I need to basically attack and cycle cards with the Witch King. Before I get hit with Power to Great, Celeborn, like I need to be really quick because Fellowship is not moving super fast per se, but they're moving very efficiently. And all my eyes, all the like my corruption damage was not there. So I need to be extra fast. Like I need to be on pace to win by turn 7 still. I play a Desperate Battle. I get 1 hit and one back, which is I press draw. Like press drawing here is a little bit risky, right? They can easily get 2 hits and then maybe have a sortie out with like a no quarter or something, and then try to kill off Witch King. But I feel like I have to. I play Desperate Battle too. Oh my god, they can easily get 3 hits, and I can just do like 2, and they can get the remaining 2 hits. Like this is a risky play. This play, if Gon's out, immediately ends the game. Like turn two over. My opponent plays sudden strike, something like this, right? They can kill off Witch King very easily if things go wrong, and they get a hit. The sudden strike hits. I'm only rolling 4 dice to their 3 with Desperate Battle. I roll 2 hits. My opponent rolls 0. That was lucky. That was lucky. Because if they hit two, if they just get 2 hits, right? 2 hits, 2 3s. Oh, sorry, 2 4s. Wait. Oh, we missed a hit. Yeah, we made a mistake. We didn't catch it. And I'm just catching it. This 4 is a hit because it's leader plus combat roll. Like, this should have been a hit. It's not 0. It's 1. Damn. Yeah, we no, that's true. I have 2 hits. He has 1 hit. This 4 is a hit. Well, unfortunate. That's what happened. I don't think it mattered that much, but it still is not good. Like if it was 2 hits, right? Like then it would be over. Like they got a hit. It's 2 3, and I'm like they could kill me. Take a Gandalf, fair, and I draw a card. Okay. I guess I was not really paying attention to Palantirs and what cards I can play. I should just be drawing with Palantirs, the first thing to have options. Turn 3, I draw the best card I could have. Like best 2 probably cards that I could have. Dreadful Spells and Shitstorm Bats. Amazing. Okay, so I allocate 2 eyes, and I allocate 2 eyes because I want to catch them going through Moria at the very least. So I need to hit them on the first movement, which is more likely if I have two eyes. But I roll one more, so I have 3 eyes. Like I need to deal some corruption damage to try to slow them down. And my opponent only rolls one movement. So yeah. My opponent plays the red arrow. Yeah, so yeah, this is very strange because they hard play X scouts and they have a hybrid die. They can just put a guy into Old Forest Road. But Red Arrow obviously like defends Edoras very efficiently. And with their hybrid, they're gonna make a very efficient move to Westernet and just completely be safe. They're just gonna completely defend Helm's Deep with 2 dice, basically, right? Which is like really good. I play my army, top up in Lorien and move closer, and they play the hybrid. Yeah, that's the move. But at this point, I'm assuming they must have a scouts, right? They have single strategy card, but that should be a scout, right? Like otherwise, I think the scout is just too valuable. Like that, getting that extra northern units into Wooden Realm is just excellent. But I guess my opponent also thinks that they can just muster an elite in there, like an Elven elite. But not only is that's good, like the Old Forest guy are good for reinforcing Woodland Realm, it's also good to put the North to war efficiently. Anyway, so finally, turn 3, I put Isengard to war. But my opponent moves, and they're safe. Alright, my 2-eye plan also didn't pan out. I finally get Saruman and my 8 die on turn 3, which is fine. And my opponent draws a card, presumably because they didn't have anything to play with the Palantir. And that's a little surprising to me. And they draw a character card as well. That's also surprising because Lorien's under siege, Woodland Realm's under threat. Like you're looking for like Thranduil, Celeborn, or Powers They're Great, right? Or another Scouts even. So like drawing a strategy card, I think makes more sense. But then again, um, just just to draw a card to see if you can play a something with Palantir is also very I don't know. Would you not rather keep that token to maybe avoid cruel weather potentially? I don't know. I feel like those are more dangerous. Okay, so I attack Old Forest Road. Um, yeah, and I play my Swarm of Bats. My opponent doesn't play anything. I get my hit, and my opponent puts the Elven Elite there, and I put Woodland Realm under siege. And they, for the final trick, they just play an Ents. And at this point, I'm like, okay, like, and I get two hits, right? And they put Elven Robes into the pool. All right, we draw Shelob and Shadow Lengthens. Excellent. Shadow Lengthens, just really good. My opponent declares in the Middle Dale. I allocated a single eye and rolled one more. My opponent gets this amazing roll, very flexible. Um, my opponents gets going, just no reason, and I missed the fellowship. And now I, with the musters, I'm okay. Let's put Southern Easterlings. I, because at this point, Woodland Realm is so highly defended that I will need reinforcements in the dual line. So I need those guys in North Rune and South Rune with Shadow Lengthens potentially. Like I'm gonna be using them, so just put them at war. I'll maybe even attack Palargir at some point, which is like a very fair assumption. So just put them up to war. My opponent moves again, is safe again. I will assault runs Instinct Dwarf. They pass, and I attack Lorien, and I probably play Swarm of Bats to cycle. I know Swarm of Bats is an exceptional, very powerful card, but I need the cycles. I need to go fast. I need to find those deadly stripes. I need to find Corsairs, right? All kinds of fun stuff. I need to find them all. And I dodge the confusion, which would have been huge. And I roll two hits. Two hits. Yeah, that's enough. That's all I needed. All right, so that was a very good, well played card, and thanks to that, I just took one. I should be at 503 because I there should be one more hit, but my opponent moves for the third time, and they get hit this time, and I hit them for one, and they just take a random, and at this I don't understand because why risk Strider? The Fellowship is doing so well. They've been on pace. There are three more. Like next turn, they might even get into Mordor, which is super fast. They're super healthy. They took a very efficient Gandalf hit. They've only been caught twice. If they get Strider here, their entire game just blows up. They're being efficiently moving, and that completely goes thrown out the window once Strider dies. I think that's too big of a risk to just blow up your game on a one. Like on a two, yeah, take the random maybe because you want to obviously shed off the companions from the fellowship as basically as soon as possible to get to Gollum. But Strider, if you get Strider, that's very bad because what Strider does obviously is just allows you to move efficiently. You don't have to waste those precious sea dice to hide. So, like, remember, I'm looking to waste three character dice, and if Strider's not guide and they are revealed, that's like one sea dice wasted to hide the Fellowship, and that's basically exactly what I want. But they get Gimli. You know, it's fine. I guess they wanted Mary maybe to like put Mary with the Western Net or Fangorn, whatever. But I think it's too big of a risk to like risk Strider there. Whatever. So I put Shelob. And this is in lieu of what I was saying. Red tiles, if drawn, are just wasting sea dice. The whole purpose of the red tile, yes, they do a lot of corruption damage, but the more importantly, they waste that sea dice. So I want them in the pool. As simple as that. They hide with the hybrid, which is odd. Would you rather not hide with the Palantir? But I guess they have something to play. And I move all my Nazgul. I put one Nazgul on the Fellowship because I'm going to be playing the card I was so excited. Okay, they put a blue in there. Death spells. This card, thanks to this card, this Woodland Realm army can be softened. Because right now it has 9 hit points and I have 11 hit points. There's no way I'm taking it. But like this, along with this roll, 3 hits, is massive swing in my favor. It's very lucky, extremely lucky. You're expected like a hit and a half, but getting 3 is amazing. So with this final muster, this is very interesting. What do you do with this final muster? I'm asking you, and feel free to tell me in the comments. Because looking at this board state, everyone's at war. Where are my points coming from, right? Like, okay, I'm attacking the Dew Line, classic. I'm taking Lorien, I'm attacking with Lorel. I'm probably gonna attack Dale and Erebor. But like, where am I mustering, right? So feel free to tell me what you would do with this muster. Um, like what? This is 7 points. Where are my other 3 points? Okay, Pelargir can be my 8, and I need one more stronghold. I'm fishing for Corsairs always. Helm's Deep is super defended. Edoras, it's unclear how I get there. Minister, it's no way. Right? So like Grey Havens, like what am I gonna no, right? Like the of when I at this point I looked at the force pool for the free people, and there's a single elven dude here. So I decided my next most logical place of attack would be Rivendell. And if I'm gonna attack Rivendell, I think the logical place to muster is North Dunland. You just build an attack, you just muster a couple times in North Dunland and just march up there, right? So I did that. I'm curious what you would think. Maybe Moria is better because like I don't know, maybe you can like defend here or I'm just completely I'm unsure, right? Maybe I should have used the ring to do something else. Who knows? Right? My opponent was also confused. Okay. I draw on they went and new powers rising. It's a little like I'm not gonna be attacking Rohan anytime soon, so a new powers rising is a little late, but the great host is nice. I roll 1. I allocate 1, roll 2 more, which is less ideal, but my opponent gets 4 movements. They can get to Mordor through cruel weather, by the way. I drew this turn 1, turn 2. So I was super excited to have it. But at this point, they're just gonna force their way into Mordor because they can be revealed and then they just can even hide with the muster. Like so they're getting into Mordor this round, which is like alarm bells ringing in my head. The Fellowship is not being stopped. So first things first, I attack Woodland Realm because it's softened, right? I need to be fast. I can't just dilly dally. As far as the card I play Great Host against the Shield Wall. I think playing Great Host here is very risky. But I just need to cycle. I need to cycle. I need to use Witch King. So I do it, and I get this insane roll. Oh my god! I get 3 hits. 3 hits, which is enough to also trigger Great Host. Shield Wall. My opponent, I think, played Shield Wall expecting like a Deadly Strife or something. I mean, Shield Wall did something still, so they basically canceled each other out. But like, I got 3 hits. and they get my opponent gets one back. That's brutal. And I press draw. I try to make sure that I definitely trigger the Great Host. I press draw 905 against 3, and now I will play my other Great Host because that almost certainly triggers. And I get 2 hits on the reroll. Yeah, plus the Great Host. That's the Wooden. Done. So Lorien fell very unluckily because they didn't deal any damage to me. And Woodland Realm, which was a 1/4/1, just fell with 2 dice. 1 dreadful spells and just 1 attack and a press. And that was their entire early game, which was super lucky. But that's what happens sometimes. Like they just didn't do anything. Like look, like I have a huge army left though. They didn't even deal any damage. Like it's such a unlucky state, but that's why free people feel a little more like feel more annoying to play as, right? They're more like high variance. Like you do I think my opponent did everything right with respect to defending the Elven strongholds, but they just decided not to fight back and they just vanished in 4 dice total, right? I attacked Lorien once, twice, done. Attack, used dreadful spells, attacked, pressed, done. The only little inefficiency they caused was that Morio play, but like, whatever, right? Yeah, my opponent mentions that the elves were not. Yeah, they were not. Like, they were just not even close to being satisfactory. My opponent moves, gets going, and they're still safe, right? Against 3 eyes, they've been very going much, very steadily. And I put half of Goblin Man and just, yeah, just recharge that army to take on Erebor. Like, I can't waste any time. My opponent goes for the second time, and it's still safe against 3 eyes. And plus the reroll, so I've been rolling 4 dice twice now and missed on both. And at this point, I play Cruel Weather, and this is extremely important because if I hadn't, they're definitely going to get hit next round, and there's a more than 50% chance, like around 55% chance they're gonna be revealed, and they will be revealed into Minas Morgul, which means I won't be able to play Cruel Weather next turn. So in order to ensure that I waste their sea dice, I have to basically play it now. It moves them out of my Nazgul, but whatever. They move again, and I super hit them, but they only get 1 reveal, and this time they just take it. I think that's completely correct, and they declare in South Ithilien. And with the muster, they are hide, and with the final will, they're just gonna get in, which is, fine. I attack Dale, no card, no card. I get a hit. Cool. Done. Dale. And they hide, and now I put Erebor under siege. Yeah, I'm just all gas. I'm Fellowship is all gas, no breaks, and Shadow Military is all gas, no breaks. It's exactly how this game is meant to be played. Is just go as fast as possible. If you can't stop your opponent, you need to be fast. And my opponent gets hit on the 4th row, right? And I draw an eye, which is a 1 reveal. And they reveal into Minas Morgul, and they pick another random, and it's Mary. This again is, I think, very unnecessary risk. Because if I get Strider, it's just not fun for you. And what, like, you're in South Ithilien, so Mary can't even get to what, like, I can't. He can get into Minas Tirith, right? Because they're 1 movement. +1 of Mary. That's like 2, so they can get to Minister it. One from Italian. But like Mary also has 1+1 movement. They should be able to get the thing, but okay, I draw Morgul tile, and that's a 3. And this 3, I would take a random. At this point, if it's Strider, it's Strider. You might even take it because how healthy you are. But you have like 1/4, like you hate half, which was like Mary and oh no, it's Pippin. You would hate to you'd hate to get Pippin and or Strider, and the other two are fine, but you'd really, getting Strider killed on a 3 is not bad, very efficient. But obviously you're trying to be fast, so you want to keep Strider, so you might want to take it because you're so healthy. They get Boromir, which is lucky, which is really lucky for them. All right. I get going. I'm like, okay, I need to be attacking the Pelargir, and you will need to reinforce Erebor. So let's get going there. All right. Turn 6. My opponent declares into Mordor track being revealed, which is allowed, of course. And they get this. Oh no, I roll this insane roll, which one eye no more rolled insane amount of attacks, and they get this awful roll. Right, they have a single movement, which is exactly my point. It's just gonna the number of movements is just gonna balance out hopefully by the end of the game. They hide immediately, and I put one more red tile because that. By the way, we forget to make the hunt pool, and at this point, having 2 reds on a what 16 like 1/8 chance for 5 movements, you're like more than decent likelihood that you're gonna hit 1. So yeah, so far they have wasted a single sea dice, right, because of cruel weather. And they move, and they get a 2 and a reveal, and they pick random again, which I think is completely unnecessary. They just take the 2 and just be reveal, hide with Strider, because you can't move anymore, right? You're not gonna be able to move. Might as well hide. And they get Strider, which is super lucky for me. Like, I know it's very unlucky. It's very lucky for them to not have hit Strider already, but it feels so lucky for me as Shadow to kill off Strider here. And they're gonna be revealed, and they won't even be able to hide, and that's gonna be like one more wasted eventually, right? Like they will have to waste the sea die to hide. Yeah, attack. So here I devise a plan, right? I devise a very like maybe it's a too controversial of a plan, but I start by like if my eventual goal is to attack Rivendell, and they have a single Elven unit to muster, and they have 2 musters. So what I want to be able to do is technically march down here and not have Rivendell as 0-3-1. I don't want them to muster into Rivendell if I can avoid it. Having said that, I also have mini attacks, which means I can just straight up besiege Dol Amroth. But they will have musters, enough musters to be able to muster. So what I do here, I attack Pelargir. I get it. Okay. I move. I want Pelargir anyway. Right. It's almost like a free point. I put Gondor to war. This way, I'm basically threatening to put the under Dol Amroth to siege. Like if they want to put 2 elites into Dol Amroth, they need to do it now. Because if not, I'm just gonna go boop boop and just be like I'm just gonna go boop boop. Right? Obviously not exactly like that, but you get the idea. Which they do. They start putting, and then I basically threaten, and I put the Eastern army to northern. What is this called? Whale Karnan. And basically, right, and I'm genuinely thinking about this, and because I'm also going to get the mouth. Um, it's very unclear, and I'm really unsure what I want to do because I want to put the mouth in Moria. Like what I want to be technically doing is make these moves, and with this dice get mouth. With this dice maybe muster here. With these remaining three dice go basically 1, 2, 3, right, and besiege Rivendell without dealing with an extra elite. So that's my goal. That's the entire like pizzazz thing I'm trying to finesse and make them waste their muscles on Del Amroth and just like besiege Rivendell. So that like the mouth needs to show up in Moria so that I can just bring it in with the sea dice. But the thing is, if I put the mouth here, they might suspect some trickery and then immediately, keep their muster, which I didn't want to show. So I just do this. I just threaten to put DA under siege if they don't muster it immediately. Because 4-0, like 8 hit point army against 5, it's not nothing. It's not really that impossible to win that siege with a deadly strife or something, right? Plus I have Grant, I just drew it for turn, which is like I can get it. And they obviously now they muster into DA, right? But now I get the mouth, put him in Moria, they pass. Some trickery. Yeah, I do this move. I'm trying to also reinforce Erebor. And I play Shadows Gather. I realize this as well. I'm going to play Shadows Gather and bring these 5 units in there. I need to remind you that that should be 4, but whatever. I just make this like smooth little pass back through Moria into Holland. Just make a big army that's gonna besiege Woodland Realm. That's gonna besiege Rivendell this turn and have them besieged, not having mustered another elite there, which is like I'm super proud, right? And I go towards I reinforce airborne. At this point, I realize they have another ring, right? They can just ring, turn it into a muster, and muster an elite anyways. But they do this instead, which is, I think, a mistake. They lash out, right? It's kind of like they lose their nerve and lash out. They're gonna go back. They're gonna take back Lorien with the Rohan army, and they're gonna threaten Moranon with the Osgiliath army. That's what their plan, or take back Pelargir maybe, right? That's their idea, I think. Um, but like, no, but like this move significantly weakens Helm's Deep, significantly weakens Minas Tirith. The moment that Osgiliath army goes anywhere else, the Minas Tirith's gonna be wide open. So I'm like excited to see this. I'm like, okay, like if it's gonna be a military game, I'm all for it, right? The Fellowship have been going so fast that if it's gonna be military, then it's good for me. I besiege Rivendell immediately. I siege Rivendell. Yeah, I siege Rivendell immediately. And new turn. I get a deadly strike, which is great. I roll 1. I roll 2 more. And I have this 5 attacks. This is great. And I roll this insane roll. Which means with a ring, they can dunk. Right? Hide. They have basically 5 movements with a ring, which is like hide, move, 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 dunk. That's enough. Which is scary because in that case, that means they have to hit one of these reds for me to have any chance. Or obviously I hit one of the reveals, which is like likely to happen on 4 movements. They're likely to hit one of these reds or reveals. But obviously, like if they hit a 3, they get down to Golem, and like these zeros are no more longer reveals. It's a little like trickery like that, but technically they can dunk, which is scary. Because I can definitely win this turn, right? I just need 4 points, which is just Erebor and Rivendell, hopefully. Um, but my opponent does these moves, right? They're preparing to attack. I take back Lorien, and I play Grond for Erebor, and then I just blow it up with Deadly Strife. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is an overkill or not, but like maybe just play Grond, but like I didn't have any other card to play. Maybe just Devilry, just play Devilry maybe, and keep the Deadly Strife. But Grond into Deadly Strife seems like such an overkill. No, I mean, sure, I get it done, but anyway, so Deadly Strife gets 4 hits, 4 each. And then second round, I just need to roll 1 hits. And I get it on the reroll. Cool. I mean, that's how you use Grond, right? Like you use Grond so that they can't play a card and they just blow the stronghold up. Just completely weaken it and then just like take it in the subsequent rounds. I think it was fine, but it feels like an overkill because my siege ended and I still have an 8 hit point army, which is like a huge, right? It's the same army as in the one in Rivendell. So my opponent attacks Lorien, and those with a keen eye will realize that it's illegal. And we both of us missed it. Rohan is not at war. They can't do that. It's unfortunate, but none of us catch it at the moment. So we just play on as if nothing is wrong. I muster into Moria, Moria, because I want to be able to basically play Shadow's Lengthen and merge up and just kill. But at this point, they have like two character dice, two C dice, and if they retake Lorien, which means then it means the Ministrit they can't defend unless they use a ring, right? Which is really good for me because and Minas Tirith is open and also Helm's Deep is open, like wide open. So I don't know if this is correct. I probably should just muster an Orthanc and try to threaten the Helm's Deep. And or just start like mustering an Umbar for the Shadow Lengthens play to merge up in Pelargir and take Minas Tirith. That's also an option. Because they just don't have enough die to defend Helm's Deep, Minas Tirith, retake Lorien, hide, right? And like this Rivendell army, as cute as that my play was, is just maybe a little like it's the harder of the sieges. And my opponent attacks again. I'm skipping over these little parts. I mastered the fourth tank, realizing Helm's Deep is weak. But I think Umbar is like a little bit more interesting and go for Ministers, right? At this point, I should go for Minister because it says like I have 4 attacks, just 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Take, and I can just take it very easily. With 2 elites, I just need a single hit with like what 10 dice, maybe even like 13 dice. So it's doable. And my opponent does this, and at this point, he threatens to take both my strongholds because they took back Lorien, so they put me back 2 points. So I defend my, but then at this point, he realizes that Rohan's not at war. So it sucks, but we basically undo the entire turn. into before they attacked. And it's like it was an honest mistake on both of our parts. It's both of our responsibility to keep the game state, to check for rules. And I'm glad that we were able to restore the game state to a point where it's playable again, because if it had been like last turn, then it would just be an auto loss for my opponent, unfortunately. Probably, I'm not a judge, but it would just suck for a game, but for a game to end like that, it's just like not fun. So I'm glad that we were able to resolve it with no issue. But at this point, my opponent just hid the fellowship. And I still mustered into Moria. Like at this point, my brain was combobulated to just, hey, I still need to go for the same plan, but like I don't. I should just go for Minister still. Like they're aggressively moving, they're hiding, and I'm like going for this plan. I realize it way too late. They move, they ring move, and they get revealed. And I Shadow Langtons, I put in Rivendell, and I merge up in Pelargir. I can't take Minas Tirith right now because I don't have enough dice. So I need to take Rivendell. And I have 3 attacks with couple presses to get 4 hits with 2 cards to play. It's doable. And I play Relentless Assault and I get 4 hits. 4 5s. And yeah, and then I just press and play Devilry and I get my hit on the reroll. And that's the game. That's the game. GG's to my opponent. It was well played. It's unfortunate that like at the last turn that like unfortunate thing happened. Um, but it was a very fun game. It was a very quick game. Like I said, we were rushing to for the turn 7, and here's the statistics. Okay, so as I was explaining the statistics, I realized I made a huge mess of things. So I'm just re-recording the statistics caption again. So hey, again, here's the statistics, and I rolled a, a little bit above average sixes in 117 dice. I think it's pretty okay. It's a little above average. All is good. I rolled not too many eyes, -2 on eyes, low on hybrids, very high on attack, which is great. 3 people got above average sixes, whatever. But I think the most important, the most interesting section and the least talked about section is this section where 3 people rolled 33 dice and they got a perfect distribution of different die results. What I mean by that, everything is all they got was expected amount. So in total, they got 16 movements, and that's just enough for Fellowship to dunk, right? One for Gandalf and the other 15 to dunk is enough. So they got what they wanted plus the 3 Elven rings. So they actually had a natural 19 rolls of movement. But they only made it to step 3 of the Mordor track, which is 14th move, right? This is 16 is dunk, 15, 14 is the third step of the Mordor track. Which means out of 19 rolls, 19 movement rolls, they only used 14 of them. In other words, they wasted 5 of their movement dice, which is great because my goal as a shadow player is to waste 3 of it, and now like they wasted 5. So one was cruel weather, right? The second one was this hide in the first step. The third one was hiding in the second step. The fourth one was a ring when they used the second ring to make this hybrid play into Osgiliath and Eastamnet to this Westernnet army to Eastamnet. when I was scared that they were gonna muster into Rivendell. That was they used the ring for that. And on the fifth one they wasted was at the beginning of this turn 7. They had used a hybrid to move these armies out even further, right? Because we rewound everything, that we kind of forgot to like mention that or notice that at the time. But they also wasted the will to make these two armies move again, basically. So those are the 5 wasted movement dice, right? And if Fellowship had rolled, they need 3 more dice to actually dunk, which means they will have needed 22 movements to dunk, right? They had 19, 3 more, 22 to dunk, which means for 15, for you normally need 15 dice, but you used 22 to dunk, which means you wasted 7, right? No, sorry, you need 16 to dunk, but you used 22, meaning you wasted 6, because this hide they will have to hide here, which will also waste another, which means I think like I don't want to say like Shadow did his job, but at the same time, it all these wasting things happened because of not non-efficient hiding. They weren't able to do that. Cruel weather, like I just played a card. I didn't do anything strategic. But like this lashing out of these with these armies is probably the cause for the shadow, the free people to actually cost them those precious moments, right? Um, but that was the game. Um, Again, well played to my opponent, and there's gonna be we're gonna be switching sides for the next one, and yeah, hope you got something out of it. It was really fun. I hope to see you in the next one. And take care and have a nice rest of your day. Bye bye.